Hey, happy Monday. Did you have a restful weekend? Are you feeling better about this whole time change? Are you getting more accustomed to it? That's awesome because it's a brand new week. We just had a weekend of rest. We're adjusting to the time change. Now we're ready for Number Corner. Today we're going to work through some calendar grid workbook pages after we update our calendar grid. We'll also update our calendar collector, and then we're going to talk about some more multiples. So let's get started. This weekend, let's look at our calendar markers. The 7th, what time was it? Good, it was 7 o'clock. So what time do you think it'll be on the 8th? Nice, 8:20. 8:20 from 7 o'clock. What? And then what time is it on the 9th then? You really have to think about this because here we had an hour and 10 minutes in between from one day to the next. We're talking about elapsed time. So from the 1st to the 2nd, an hour and 10 minutes went by. And then the 2nd to the 3rd, an hour and 10 minutes went by. And now we jump from the 5th to the 6th, which was an hour and 10 minutes. And now the 6th to the 7th, 5:50 to 7 o'clock is still an hour and 10 minutes. But what happens when we get down here? Now it says it's 8:20. Is that still an hour and 10 minutes? No, that's an hour and 20 minutes. So if that's our new pattern, what might today's marker look like? Let's check it out. It is 9:40. That's interesting. So let's fill this in on our calendar recording chart. All right, so here's our recording sheet. So 11:07 was 7 o'clock, and it is still a.m. So what's our elapsed time? Here it's an hour and 10 minutes still. So now we've collected 7 hours. From 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 7 hours have passed. But now we need to look at the calendar marker for Sunday, which was, let's go back and just double check. It was 8:20, and then we had 9:40, so let's fill that in. 8:20 and 9:40. Now we noticed something for this new start of the week on Sunday. Something changed. It's still a.m. before midday, but now we have 1 hour and 20 minutes in between our two markers. From Saturday to Sunday is an hour and 20 minutes. So we had 7 hours collected. So now we have, 8 hours and 20 minutes. So then today's marker is a.m. We already wrote that it's 9:40. An hour. So it looks like we have a new pattern here for a new week. And 20 minutes, which gives us a total of, 9 hours and 40 minutes. All right, so we're actually going to come back to do a workbook page for our calendar grid. But before we do, let's go ahead and update our calendar collector. Okay, so you may remember that for every day in November, every school day for November, we're adding 1 cup of water, and I've made it colored water. So we have 1 cup, and the water is kind of green. And you may remember that we already collected 1 quart. And here is our quart. You may also remember that it took 4 of these to fill up 1 of these. So now that this is full, I can't pour this cup into that container because it's full. It's going to overflow, it's going to spill, and Mr. Mel doesn't want to mess everywhere. especially not around your computer. So I had to get a brand new quart. And I'm going to pour my cup for today. Today is the 5th day of school in November. And I have poured in my cup. Okay, do you see? And I can add my marker to show where today's water ends up. So while I'm doing that, I want you to think about how many quarts do I have now? Here it is. How many quarts do I have? Right, I have 1 full quart, and we know a cup is worth, look up here, 1/4 of a quart. So that means I have 1 1/4 of a quart. Okay, so if I write that as an equation, I can put 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 1/4 plus 1/4, which is going to equal 1 whole and 1/4. Okay? Right. Good job. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like by the end of the month. We'll get there soon. But first, let's jump right onto our number line. That way we do our number line before we start doing some work in our workbook. Okay? So, you may remember we have multiples now. We've collected multiples of 2, multiples of 3, multiples of 6, multiples of 4, and multiples of 8, all on the same number line. And tell me what a multiple is. Do you remember? Right, got it. So this month we're adding 2 more multiples to our number line, but today we're only going to focus on one of them, and that is multiples of 5. So tell me, what is a multiple of 5? You told me what a multiple is. Now tell me what's a multiple of 5. Right, so if you count by 5s, every number that you land on is going to be a multiple of 5. So do you think some multiples of 5 already have symbols on them? Well, which ones? Oh, you think a number that ends in 0 would already have a mark on them, like maybe the number 10 or the number 20. I guess we're going to find out. Why do you think that, though? Well, then tell me this. How many multiples are there between 0, multiples of 5, are there between 0 and 100? Think about how many multiples of 10 there are between 10 and 100. 10 times 10 is 100. We have half of that. That means we might have double the amount of multiples. Maybe. We'll see. So we're going to do a count around, and I know count arounds virtually are not as fun as what they would be if we were in person, but that's okay because we can kind of make it fun. So anytime we get to a multiple of 5, we're going to shout it out, and you can shout it out in a funny voice. You can sing it out. You can clap it out. You can stomp it out. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you are with me. You're participating. You're making the effort to stay with me so we can highlight these multiples of 5. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to put multiples of 5 with a red triangle around the number. So let me get my pen tool ready. So here we go. We're going to start at 1. Are you ready? We're whispering the numbers that are not multiples of 5, and we're shouting out somehow a multiple of 5. So let's start with 1, 2, 5. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a red triangle around it. Ready? So we shouted out our first multiple. How many multiples do we have so far? Yeah, that was an easy one. I know. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. 15. 20. I'm going to stop you there. How many have we highlighted so far? Or identified so far? 4. And guess what? What's 4 times 5? 4 times 5 is indeed 20. You're right. Let's keep going. All right, so we're at 20. 25. 30. Just had to yell that one out. Oh, look at 30. How many other multiples have 30 in common? Yeah, a lot of them. 2, 3, 6. Interesting. Let's keep going. 35. It's my British accent. 40. We had 4 multiples of 5 between 0 and 20. So how many multiples of 5 do we have between 20 and 40? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so how many multiples of 5 do we have so far? Yes, 8. You're right. And guess what? 8 times 5 is 40. Hopefully you guys are picking up on the hint here. So let's keep it going. And you know what? We're just going to go ahead and count by 5s and label them with our red triangle. So 40, we know how to count by 5s, right? Yeah. 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Woo, look at that, number 60. What are you seeing? Multiples of 2, multiples of 3, multiples of 6, multiples of 4, multiples of 5. Now, when we have to find some common denominators, possibly, it might make it easier for us, right? Looking at our number line. Yeah. Well, we have another group of 20, so how many more multiples of 5? We had 8 up until 40. Well, a group of 20 is going to have how many? Yeah, 4 more. So that means we have 12 so far. Yes. What's that? 12 times 5 is 60. You're right. You're picking up on this, and I'm loving it. All right, so 60, we're just counting by 5s at this point. Ready? 65. 70. 75. Good. Almost there, guys. Stay with me. 80. 80. That's my British accent. 85. 90. How many more do you think we have to go? Yeah, 2 more, which is going to be 95 and 100. You did it. Great job. Do we have any multiples of 5 that aren't a multiple of any other number? Yeah, 90. Well, at least so far. 95, 85, and maybe some other numbers too. 55. Nice. All right. So how can knowing 5's facts help you multiply by 4? Or even help you multiply by 6? I'm going to give you a hint for 4, and then maybe you guys can figure out how to use multiples of 5 to find multiples of, or to help you multiply by 6. So if I want to multiply by 4, and I don't know my 4's facts, I can use my 5's. Here's how. Because I multiply by 5, and then I would subtract a set. So for example, let's see, one we knew really well. Let's go with, not 15, that's too easy. Let's go with, actually I do want to go with 15. If I'm trying to find 5 times 4, and I don't know 5 times 4, or excuse me, not 5 times 4, let me think of a really good example. Oh, I know. Let's do 4 times 7. Miss Trammell was stuck in thinking about 5s. So if I want to find 4 times 7, I can think about 5 times 7, which is 35, and then take away one group of 7, because really I only wanted 4 groups of 7 and not 5 groups. So then I could say 35 minus 7, which is 28. So what if I wanted to find 4 times 9? Right, I could find 5 times 9, which is 45, and take away a group of 9, which would bring me back to 36. So you can use 5's facts to figure out 4's facts. So then how do you think you can use 5's to figure out 6's? Yeah, now you're just adding a set. So instead of having 4 times 7, maybe I have 6 times 7. I could still do 5 times 7 and then add another group of 7. Okay? Well, you'll get the hang of it pretty soon, especially once we get into multiplication with the distributive property and such. I do want you to know multiples of 5 don't have as many factors as multiples of 2's and 4's and 8's. And here's why. Multiples of 4 are double, or excuse me, all the multiples of 4 are multiples of 2. All the multiples of 8 are multiples of both 2 and 4. But 5 is a prime number. Yeah, that's right, 5 is prime. And that's why you're not going to see 5 share as many factors as 2, 4, and 8. Okay? All right, so now let's look at our workbook page. All right, so open up to page 23 in your number corner journal. And we are going to fill in the times for each clock, including whether it's AM or PM. And then we're going to answer the questions. So today we're going to focus on just the first page, page 1 of 2, okay? So I want you to pause this video and I want you to work through the times, AM or PM, and then the 2 questions below. I think you guys can do that fairly quickly. Pause this video, and when you're ready, come right back. All right, so let's go over it. Let's look at this clock. What time is it? Good, it is 2:20 a.m. still. It's still dark outside. It is not time to wake up yet, and it's definitely not after midday. Remember, AM is before midday. So now let's look at the next one. What time is it on clock B? Maybe I can zoom in just a little bit more. Good, it is 3:30, okay? And it is still 8 a.m. All right, we're rocking and rolling. All right, so what'd you get for 5? Right, it is, wait, what time is it on number 5? Yeah, right, it is 4:40, and it's still a.m. That hour hand looks a little, or can look a little tricky, so you gotta really pay attention to what's happening or the placement of it, because it's past the 4, which means it's past 4 o'clock, and we're getting really close to 5 o'clock. So now I want you to just check your answers for the next few clocks. So check your times. Look really similar to what we're seeing on our calendar markers, right? Right, so how much time has passed between A and B? 2:20 to 3:30. Right, it's the same thing that we've been seeing. 1 hour and 10 minutes. Just like what we're seeing in our number corner. Right, and then Number 3. How much time has passed between E and F? Yeah, we were able to see that very quickly. 1 hour and 20 minutes. Hey, awesome. So I will see you guys tomorrow for Number Corner. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.